All right, guys, this is my 2022 TRD Pro Tundra, and as many of you know, it's a common problem for these to have some rattling in this area from the bass in the speakers. So I'm going to take this apart today and see if I can figure out where that rattling is coming from. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is remove this panel right here. There's a little clip right there, right here, and right there that hold that on. So it's easy if you just start at the top. And once you get that pried out, you should be able to just get your fingers behind there and pull it out. So on the back of there, there's these 3 clips, and the entire clip came out when I pulled that out. So you'll see here those go in those holes. Just make sure you get the complete clip, and hopefully you don't break any pulling that out. Next thing you're going to do is pull this out. You can use a little pry tool to get down in there and pop it out of that little recess in the door. Next thing you're going to do is remove this little cover plate behind the door handle. And there's a sticker right there that shows it's locked. I just slid that forward so I don't damage that sticker as I pry it. And it just pops out. And you can see on the back there's 3 little clips. Next thing you're going to do is remove this little piece right here where the window controls are. The best way to do that is use your pry tool and pry under there and twist it. Back side's a little tougher, but it pops out. Then on the back side there's 2 plugs. If you remove this white one first, there's a little tab on there, you can release it. If you remove the white one first, then it's easier to get to the black one. That slides out. Next thing you're going to do is remove 3 screws. There's one right here behind the door handle, one larger one here underneath that window control unit, and then there's another one down inside here where that little carpet piece was. That one's a pretty good size one. All right, next you're going to want to undo this light down here so that it'll make it easier pulling the panel off. So the best way to do that is get in behind this light on this side and just pry it out. You can see there's a little rounded piece on that lens. You just pull that out and unclip the white clip. All right, now we need to remove this little clip that's right up here on the front of the door. And there's little 2 rings there. You want to depress the center part, and that releases it. This is what that looks like. So when you put that back in, you'll want to pull that center pin back out. All right, now we're ready to remove the door panel. This door panel, there's kind of a groove across the top here, and that part needs to pull outward. So we're going to lift from the bottom and release all the clips that are around the perimeter. There's 6 or 8 of them. So the easiest way to do this is to grab down here on the bottom with your right hand and do the same on the, there's actually a good place to grip right here. And then you'll do the same on the left and just try and apply even pressure as you release those clips. It actually pops out pretty easy. And then we're going to need to remove some cables here behind the door handle before we can get that off. All right, now there's a little black clip down here. That's the wiring for the memory seats. And then there's 2 cables up here. And you just unclip those. You see there's a little groove there where it clips in, and there's a ball on the end where it clips into the mechanism. So you just remove those 2, and your door panel's free. All right, I had some of this closed cell foam that is probably 1/4 inch thick and 2 inches wide. They make a variety of widths. This is pretty firm stuff, so there may be some other stuff that works well, but this is what I had. So I was able to isolate a couple of areas where it's rattling. One was these 2 clips right here. So I just cut a little piece of that foam and put it in between those. You can see it right there. And this is adhesive back, so it just stuck to the blue one just to keep those from rattling. Another area that I was pretty sure was rattling is this metal bracket against this plastic. So I'll show you what I did on the back of there. You'll see on there I just cut a piece of that foam and stuck it to the back of there so that that won't rattle against the plastic when it's mounted back up. All right, then here on the back of the door panel, this is where that large screw goes through and attaches it to the door. So there's just metal right here on the back of the door So I put some foam right there, and then under here, that's the screw underneath the little carpet piece. So I surrounded that, and there's like a tab right there. It's raised off of this surface. So I wrapped that with foam because it sounds like this is where the sound is coming from. All right, one other spot that I think could be rattling is this little recess right there, and this are going to be hitting the door right there, and it could be rattling. I'm afraid this foam I have is too thick for me to put on the back of there, so I may get some thinner or some this type of foam that's not as dense later to put on there. But we're going to put it back together now. The way you put it together is pretty much how I took it off, so I'm not going to explain all the steps with that. You may check on yours, depending on how these wires are laid out in here. You may want to tape a couple together and keep them off of the plastic. That could be part of your rattling problem. All right, when you put this back together, there's a clip in this area on the back side of that panel. Make sure that's, when you push in on it, you can hear it click. Make sure that's connected or you'll still have a rattle here. All right, guys, that's it. Got everything put back together. I'm going to do the same thing on the passenger door, but that seems to have solved my rattling problem on this door, which is great. And so hope that helped you guys out. Thanks for watching.